Why do states increasingly choose tariffs and financial restrictions instead of missiles? Why can freezing a country's central bank reserves destabilize its economy overnight? And why has trade policy become a frontline instrument of geopolitical rivalry? Economic sanctions and trade wars have become central tools of modern diplomacy because in an interconnected global economy, financial leverage can be as powerful as military force. Economic sanctions are coercive measures designed to change a state's behavior by imposing economic costs. They can target entire sectors, such as oil exports or banking systems, or specific individuals and entities. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Western states froze portions of Russia's foreign reserves, restricted access to the SWIFT financial system, and limited technology exports. These measures aim to weaken Russia's economic capacity and constrain its military operations. Similarly, sanctions on Iran have targeted oil exports and financial transactions to pressure negotiations over its nuclear program. Sanctions operate on the assumption that economic pain will alter political calculations. Trade wars function differently but share similar strategic logic. Instead of complete isolation, trade wars involve tariffs, export controls, and regulatory barriers designed to shift economic advantage. The US-China trade conflict, beginning in 2018, imposed tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods. More recently, export controls on advanced semiconductors have highlighted the strategic value of technology supply chains. These measures are not simply about economic competition. They reflect concerns over national security, technological dominance, and long-term strategic positioning. Economic coercion relies heavily on globalization and interdependence. The dominance of the US dollar in global finance gives Washington unique leverage, allowing it to restrict access to international banking systems. Sanctions become effective because most global transactions rely on interconnected financial infrastructure. However, this also incentivizes targeted states to develop alternatives, such as regional payment systems or currency diversification, potentially reshaping global economic structures over time. Sanctions and trade wars also raise ethical and political debates. While intended to pressure governments, broad sanctions can impact civilian populations through inflation, unemployment, and supply shortages. Trade restrictions can disrupt global supply chains, increasing costs for consumers worldwide. The semiconductor export controls affecting China, for example, have ripple effects across industries dependent on advanced chips. Economic statecraft is rarely contained within national borders. Its consequences are global. In modern international relations, economic tools have become preferred instruments of coercion because they allow states to signal resolve without immediate military escalation. Yet they also deepen fragmentation and strategic mistrust. Sanctions and trade wars demonstrate how power has expanded beyond the battlefield into finance, technology, and supply chains. Understanding economic coercion reveals how diplomacy, economics, and strategy now intersect in shaping global outcomes. And now that you see how economic tools influence behavior, the next step is to explore how non-traditional global challenges, such as climate change, are reshaping diplomatic priorities and cooperation frameworks.